Well, I just got back a copy of the chapter that I wrote, the book that we are publishing in the near future, a few months anyway. And they suggest that I read it out loud. So I thought I would read it out to you, and you can let me know what you think. So basically, the book is called Retirement to Rewirement by George Brown. Retiring just so you can do nothing is no way to live. And so from now on, the word retirement will be replaced with the word graduation. This is a quote by Mike Finley that touched me as I was going through this. I'm a successful guy, and I have been married to a wonderful wife, Susan, since 1982. I have two loving daughters and two fun grandkids. I'm the chief engineer in a leading company. I am at the top of my career. But at 62, my life is on cruise control. This is about to change. I'm at work one day having coffee with one of our contractors. He says, "George, when are you planning to retire?" I mentally push on the brakes. I am no longer on cruise control. I don't know what to say. It feels like I'm staring at an iceberg in front of me. My mind is blank except for deny, deny, deny. So I spit it out. I'm never going to retire. When I get home from work, I begin talking with my wife, Susan, about this. I have a cold feeling in my chest. With this iceberg in front of me, I don't know how to move forward toward retirement. Susan and I talk about it a lot. We went online and found that there's an app for that, an app for counting down to retirement. You put in your retirement date, you plug in all of your vacation time, weekends, all your holidays, and any other time that's owed to you, and it tells you how many more working days you have till retirement. Okay, I have just over 500 working days until I retire at the age of 65. Each day I wrote the number on the whiteboard in the kitchen on my way to work. This made it fun for a while. It gave me the feeling that I have everything under control. However, there is still a fear inside that I can't seem to calm. To help take my mind off this, Susan suggests that we go to a Jack Canfield event. She has always wanted to do that ever since we listened to his material on high self-esteem on cassette tapes, if you can believe it. I tell her to go. Susan says, no, she would like us to do it together. And that's when I realized that I need to sit down with her and really listen to what she is suggesting. We both signed up to attend Breakthrough to Success, BTS, in August of 2016. We get copies of Jack's book, The Success Principles, and start reading it. Little did we know how this would change our lives. The first day at BTS, Jack teaches that success begins with you taking more responsibility for the outcomes in your life. By acting as if you are 100% responsible for your life, you will have more success. I'm naively thinking, I got that responsibility part already, Jack. He then says, you are responsible for your behavior, what you say and how you say it. You are responsible for your thoughts, your self-talk, and your beliefs, both your conscious and subconscious beliefs. And you are responsible for your visual imagery, including images for your future. It gets me thinking about my future once I retire. What future? All I see is this iceberg. I get engaged in the process, and during an exercise on increasing responsibility in one area of my life, I decide I will take 5% more responsibility for my health by taking the stairs instead of the elevators at work. At lunchtime, Kathleen Seeley, one of Jack's instructors, presented on how to explore this concept further. She says, when we have an experience of an event, we make up a story in our head about the outcome of the event based on our past experiences, and then respond with that story. The brain is extremely efficient at this. We often don't even realize we're making up this story. It reminds me of when I couldn't find the keys to my truck. I always leave them on the front lobby windowsill, always. I thought my wife must have used the truck, didn't put the keys back where I expected them to be. I'm ready to get into it with her when I remember that I wore that yellow jacket yesterday because it was windy. And then I got distracted by a phone call when I walked in the door at home. Sure enough, there were my keys in the pocket of the jacket in the closet. That story I told myself about her having the keys had the potential to cause all kinds of trouble. So I'm very interested in this lunchtime presentation. I immediately take a pen and draw a huge plus sign on a blank page in my notebook, just like the one Kathleen has done on the stage. And without hesitation, I write retirement in capital letters in the top left quadrant of the page. That is the event that I am facing. In the top right quadrant, I write iceberg in capital letters. This is the story I tell myself about retirement. I'm feeling blocked. In the bottom right quadrant, I write, again in capitals, negative / denial / fear, which is my response to this event. And finally, in the bottom left quadrant is my outcome, in which I write, none. What am I not understanding? This has not helped at all. I put my hand up and I ask, what do I do if your outcome is not something you want? Kathleen says, look at your story and ask, is it true? If you want a better outcome, change the story that you're telling yourself. That will in turn change your response, leading to an outcome that you want. What a concept. I look at my story and I think, could retirement be positive? I cross out iceberg and I write positive in capital letters, as this is the story that I want to tell myself about retirement. Amazingly, this calms me down and I start considering possible outcomes and writing them all around the crossed out word none. I look back and I write positive for my response to retirement instead of negative, instead of denial, and instead of fear. I think I'm getting this. I'm responding to this time around based on a positive story I tell myself instead of reacting based on a negative false story. I now have all these positive ideas of what I can do once I retire. I'm feeling really good. I still have to decide what I want, but now I have so many areas to explore. I can learn to play the piano. I'll have more time with Susan and the kids and the grandkids. I can work for myself. A new direction of my choice now. Sure, I have to change how I think about things. I have to wire new pathways in my brain and forge new habits. I'm excited. I have hope again. When I take one more look at that page, up in that left quadrant, I still see that word in capitals, retirement. I still don't like that word. I don't want it on the page now. It doesn't fit with the direction I'm going. This isn't stopping or an ending. It's a new beginning to my life, a new direction. You'll need to think differently here, George. At the start of my story, I said that I never was going to retire. My next step is to reframe my event. I have now made the new event rewirement, and it has such an interesting positive outcome. So looking forward to what the future has in store for me now. So that basically is my story. That how retirement forced me to rethink how I think about life and how I had to rewire my thinking from a place of fear to a place of excitement and what retirement can actually be. I would love to hear your comments on the story. Please feel free to comment on Facebook. Thumbs up if you enjoy the story. It seemed believable to you. I know I lived it, so it's quite believable. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. Bye for now.